Okay, welcome to your final success session at the Blue Water Middle College. I hope that you're excited. We'll go through it, but we just wanted keeping a lot of this stuff from the days of Mr. Spencer, if you remember him. Just thinking back to where you were 3 years ago, you were starting this whole process, getting your first schedule, taking the AccuPlacer. You went through 6 semesters and you only had one of those as a normal semester. And that was your first semester of college. So it probably didn't feel super normal to you. That was when you were adjusting to this whole world. Most of you took somewhere between 18 to 20 college courses, have 60 or more credit hours. You're going to have a high school graduation, which is going to be our first middle college graduation in a couple of years. You've done 25 hours of us talking at you at either success sessions or orientation. And hopefully you'll also be getting your college degree and going to the SC4 commencement. And we'll talk about all of that today. That's impressive. So Mr. Spencer's little graphics here, a real wobbly O, just keeping his memory alive. He's still alive. He's just retired. So we're very happy to be wrapping up this year with you. And you guys have really gone through a lot in these few years, and we're especially proud of you guys. I think you guys have had the toughest 3 years in the middle of college in the midst of all this COVID craziness. But on to bigger and better things for all of you, hopefully. So today's agenda is pretty full. We'll probably take pretty close to the hour and a half. So if you have to pop out, that's okay. I'll be sending the video to everyone, whether you arrived or attended in person or on this current Zoom or just couldn't make it. So hopefully everybody's getting this information. We'll talk about some news and updates, how to return books and all of that stuff, graduation information, 2 different surveys that we need you to fill out, and then kind of all the next steps. So what's your new status at your new school, or the various next steps that people are taking, how to order transcripts and what you need to know about which one they're looking for. There's a video that we had from an admissions advisor at SVSU talking about just kind of how the whole majors and minors work. And it's not just if you're going to SVSU, it's helpful information. And hopefully you have some idea of what you're going to be doing. We'll talk about how to buy textbooks, since you'll have to pay for that on your own eventually, well, from here on out. And then just a quick review of the options for paying for college and how to get aid, and then where to get help for that. So first, what I want you to think about, this is, again, Mr. Spencer did this. One thing to think about is something that you really liked during your time in the middle college. So that could be one activity, one incident, one person, one class, one thing, just one thing that maybe you'll take away from this as being like, I will always remember this cool thing that happened, something that you liked. Go to the chat and enter your favorite thing. If you want to share it with everybody, that's wonderful. If it's something that you don't want everyone to read, you can send it just to me, and that's fine too. And if your name on your Zoom login isn't your actual first and last name, just maybe type that in as well. But if you can all do that now, please. Okay, so a bunch of people shared awesome insight, fun memories of the middle college, great instructors that they had, and all of this stuff. And we'll ask you some of the stuff again in the surveys that we're going to have you complete. And those are really, really helpful. We do take all of that into consideration. And it's pretty much the stuff that we've been telling you the last 3 years is stuff that people have told us in those surveys through the year of things that they wish they had done differently, or things that went well, different suggestions or complaints. All those things we do take into account. So anything you have to share will help us for the future, and we really appreciate that. So returning books, Chromebooks, and other Blue Water Middle College materials. So it is that time. It's your last return. So that is where you'll also turn in your Chromebook and charger. In the past, we used to be able to sell those, but we can't at this time. This year, we're not able to. The cost of it and new Chromebooks it's hard to get them, and if they're more expensive, and we're not able to do that with our budget. So I apologize. You guys have gone through the toughest 3 years and then can't buy your Chromebook at the end of it, but hopefully you're kind of ready to get rid of it. They are relatively cheap if you wanted to buy one on your own or get whatever device will work for you. You may want to wait till you get to your next step, whether that's work or a new college, and see kind of what device would be best at that for your program and for what you want to do. We can start accepting books, materials, Chromebook. When we're talking about materials, sometimes people had equipment that they borrowed, calculators that you might have borrowed. If you borrowed a laptop for a certain class, we would need that as well. All that stuff would need to be returned. We're going to be available 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. Monday through Thursday for next week and the following week. So next week is the week of the 25th. That's when we can start taking it. Don't return anything if you still need it to get ready for your finals. The following week, May 2nd through the 6th, we can also accept materials. And actually, that Friday, May 6th, we will be in the office and available that day too. So bring everything in at once, but you'll have to bring your textbooks to the bookstore, and then you'll come to the Middle College office to drop off your Chromebook and charger. And then when you have returned everything, you can also pick up your diploma at the same time. If you know you're coming to graduation, you could wait and pick up your diploma then, but we do need your materials before that. There's also, a handful of people that are waiting on their current classes and the grades for your final year math requirement. So if you are waiting for that, you may not get your diploma at that time. You might have to come back for that because we can't have that. We can't give you your diploma until we know for sure that you've earned it. So if anybody's still working on those, you may have to come back the following week. If you don't get the books in by May 6th, there is a late fee, the books and the Chromebook, and you can't get your diploma until everything's been returned. And then if there was a late fee, once that's paid as well. So the best thing is just to get it all in on time. And if you have some kind of issue with that, just let us know. We can be flexible if we have some communication, but if you don't turn them in and we just don't hear from you and there's no plan made for that, then we will have to charge you that late fee and hold your diploma. So big thing, hopefully, if you're on track and you will be finishing your associate degree this semester, you would have been needed to apply for graduation in the service center or with a paper application for graduation. You would have had to submit that already in order to participate in the SE4 commencement. The deadline for that was April 11th, and that was Mr. Ruiz, I think, sent an email about that, and we talked about this a little bit earlier in the year. If you've already applied for graduation and you're doing commencement, then you should have also gotten information from SE4 on like what time you report, how to get your cap and gown, stuff like that. If you do not have that information, let one of us know and we can track that down for you. Once you apply for graduation, after the semester ends, so if you applied and you are on track, you're going to get your Associate of Arts or whatever associate degree this semester. Once grades are in, it takes them some time. They have to go through and kind of recheck everything to make sure that you've completed everything. So that takes some time, and then they have to actually go through the process of printing and mailing them. So it does take usually about 8 weeks after the semester ends for your diploma to actually arrive. So that would be in July for those of you that are finishing this semester. If you have one more class to take over the summer and you've applied with for your degree at the end of this summer semester, it would be 8 weeks after the semester. And so same for if you finish next fall or winter. If you have not applied for graduation, you do still have to apply for graduation in the service center in order to get your degree. So if you know you're going to finish your degree next fall, you're sticking around for one more semester, or you didn't really care to come to commencement, but you do still want the associate degree, you do still have to apply for that in the service center. If you're sticking around next year and you're going to finish your degree next fall or next winter, you would then be allowed to do the ceremony next spring. And so, yeah, this one will probably be pretty packed because they're going to have the last 2 years. If people wanted to come back and do graduation, they were able to do that if they graduated in 2020 or 2021. So it could be a long one, but there will be lots to celebrate, lots of people very excited. So I think it's fun and worth it, and a very, very cool thing if you have finished your associate degree. We're also very pleased to say that we are returning to having a Blue Water Middle College graduation. Everyone is welcome to attend. Traditional high school students that have already done your thing at your high school after 12th grade, homeschool students, 13th year students that are most of you, but there are a few of you that are graduating early at the end of your 12th grade year. Everyone is welcome to attend. I guess I don't have much information here. You'll get more information about the when and the where and what time you need to report. But Adria, I have, if you want to stick around afterwards, I'll answer that for you, or I can get you in the chat in a second. So those students, everyone is welcome. It will be very informal or casual, I guess, but if you want to dress nice, you could kind of look at it like dress like business casual, like khakis or sundresses, or just, you know, try to avoid jeans, but it's no biggie. We are going to have, through the ceremony, we have a little presentation where we put people's pictures up and play it like over a song. If we don't get your picture, we might use your ID picture that you took back when you first started. So you're probably better off to give us a picture if you want that included. And you would email that to Mr. Stewart at stewart.ryan@secresa.org. So our graduation will be held in the SC4 field house, which is super cool. It's the first year we're doing that. And we will probably have you report a little bit early, like maybe like half an hour early. It will start at 7, and I think you'd report at 6:30. But we will have an email following all of this up with all the information that we talk about today, and then all of that like specific information about graduation. So watch for that, and you'll have a lot of info coming in the next few weeks. So just make sure that you're keeping an eye on your email for kind of all things finishing up college and middle college. There is a survey that is required that we need you to complete before you can get your diploma. And that is on the next page, actually. So I will put this in the chat, but it's your last Google form that you have to do with us. And let me just pop over here and kind of show you. It's very simple. It's just a 1-page, and it is at this tiny URL. Let's see, 2022 future plans. So I will pop that in the chat, so you can just click right on it and maybe just finish it right when we're done. But again, that will be emailed with the whole follow-up to this meeting and information, more specific information about graduation stuff. This is where I was mentioning this is helpful for us to have because it's specific to our middle college and things that you liked about it, what your plans are for the future, things that we can improve on. Those are the things that we really, really take to heart. And then we'd like to have an email address that'll work in the future. So whatever your personal email is, to just let us have that. We probably do have most of yours, but that's on there. That will take you probably like 10 minutes, 5 minutes. The other one, this is actually from this, the Teachers College at Columbia University has partnered with MEMCA, which is the Michigan Early Middle College Association. And this is kind of gathering information from all kinds of middle college students across the whole state. So there are many middle colleges in Michigan. I know we've talked about this before. This one will take a little bit longer. It says 20-25 minutes, but it's probably 20 or a little bit less. But this is another one where if you can be really thoughtful and honest with this, we will not actually know who it is when you submit this. The one that you do for us will have your name on it. So if you're nervous about sharing something anonymously, that's okay. You'll have the opportunity to do that here. But I really promise you we'll not hold anything against you. We'll only feel bad that we weren't able to help you sooner. But please be honest, and we do really take both of these in consideration in our planning for like ongoing This is not required, but we would love if you would do this. It would help us and it helps middle colleges in general to have the information. And this especially is just so our like state officials can continue to support middle colleges, which this was a great opportunity for you. And this is kind of your way to pay it forward to future middle college students to get that free associate's degree. The deadline for this is to complete it April 29th, but if you could do it, I would just do it sooner than later. Again, I'll have this link in the email that we send, and Mr. Ruiz emailed about this actually today. So it's in your middle college email right now. This is just kind of what it looks like. You just kind of click. When my schoolwork became difficult, I found a way to get help. Never, once in a while, half the time, most of the time, all of the time. So you just kind of click through that. It will ask you what middle college and what grade you're in. And you all will be graduating in May of 2022. So you would click that first thing. So all of that is to kind of gather information for us and then for you to start thinking about what's next. So everyone will be a high school graduate as of May 18th, or really sooner. Once you finish the semester, you are official and you'll get your diploma. Hopefully, maybe you're also going to be a college graduate by finishing your associate degree. So you do then enter yourselves into the numbers, the percentage of people that have a college degree. And that's a lower percentage across the country and across the state, across the county than maybe you probably think. So it is really something to be proud of. While also being a college graduate, you might be a college freshman, and that is for application purposes. Hopefully you were already aware of that and we're keeping that in mind when you were applying to four-year schools. They do, in Michigan for sure, want you to apply as a freshman. I had a few people come across colleges out of state that were like, what are you talking about that you're a freshman, but you're a transfer student, you have all this credit. If the school tells you that they would like you to reapply as a transfer, that is okay. It's definitely okay to do that. You're going to follow whatever an admissions office tells you to do. But if you are applying in the state of Michigan, pretty much everybody has agreed they want you to apply as freshmen for the merit scholarships. Once you've now gotten admitted, accepted the offer, maybe paid your deposit, and you are headed off to a four-year school in the fall, your academic standing will then be adjusted based on how many credits you transfer. So if you transfer 30 or more credits, you're going to be a sophomore when you transfer. 60 or more credits, you'll then be a junior. So those are things that if you have not already started with speaking with advisors or booking your orientation, those are things you want to be working on right now, because it's important to find out where you stand and then what's expected of you. Some schools, once you transfer in as a junior, are going to kind of force you to say, this is my major, and you're then in that program. So transferring in as a junior is awesome. You have all that credit and you're there, but that does sometimes force you to have to make some decisions. So hopefully you're ready for that. But if you have any questions or want to talk that through with us or a middle college or an SE4 advisor, anybody can help you with that. Just let us know. I do see that there's something in the chat, and I think what I'm going to do is just kind of address the questions at the end. Well, let's see. It says you need permission for that form. Okay, I'll have to fix that, but I will do that. Sorry, I don't know why I did that. You can just, yeah, I'm not in the right screen to do that, so I apologize. I will do that as soon as we're done with this. Sorry about that. So a lot of people are going to different paths. People might be going to a four-year university to complete the bachelor's degree, and you already have your associate degree, and that's awesome. It's just, you're just checking on to the next task. If you know you're transferring or you're not really sure what to do, you're a class or two from finishing, or you just have a few credits, there is something called reverse transfer, where you can go ahead, transfer to the four-year school in the fall, and your first semester at the four-year school, you could transfer back to SE4 to complete your associate degree. So if you have questions about that, let me know. Some people are staying to complete their associate degree. They might be a little bit behind, or maybe they changed their mind and then that's what got them a little bit off track. Some people are doing a second associate degree or certification. Some of you are in those health programs where you really just have done your first year this year. Some people are going to go right to work. Some people are taking gap years. People are going into the military. People are going into trades and associations or apprenticeships. So whatever you do, if you have not finished your associate degree, I really recommend that you do at least that to have that degree. But even after that, I would say do something to get a little bit further training, unless what you have can get you kind of that great job right now. That's wonderful. And definitely those of you that are in the health fields, like can get that nursing degree and then get an awesome job, but not everybody's pursuing stuff like that. And it will require a little bit more education to where you want to get to, whether that's training in the military, trades, degrees, bachelor's degrees, all of that stuff is what we're talking about when we talk about future plans. If you are totally unsure of what to do, but you're thinking like, I'm ready to do some more, I think I want to carry on, but I haven't really done much work and I really don't want to go far away. There's a ton of stuff that's within about an hour or less from Port Huron. Macomb Community College has a bunch of associate degrees that we don't have at SC4, so that may be worth exploring, and a lot of the stuff will transfer really well there. But for a 4-year school, there are programs at the University Center right here on campus at SC4. Ferris State has criminal justice. U of M Flint has psychology. Walsh has a couple of business degrees, as well as Northwood. And then if you wanted to transfer and just commute, Oakland, Wayne State, U of M Flint, and I actually can't see that bottom thing, I forget what it was there, are all good schools that are within an hour and are still accepting applications. If you're staying at SC4 to either carry on with your current degree and finish that up, or starting a new degree, you still need to submit an application, because then next year you're going to be a regular SC4 student, not a middle college SC4 student. So you would need to do that. And then I would suggest seeing an SC4 advisor to see where you stand and what you need and what you have left. You can make an appointment at sc4.edu/advising. We can also help with this too, so you could reach out to one of us. I will say all of us are really flooded right now with the registration rush for fall. So be patient, but I know the SC4 advisors are also flooded. So it's just a matter of your preference, but you can reach out to either and someone will get back to you as soon as they are able. If you're staying, you can register for fall classes now, but you would just need to apply, and then you could either pay in full. That's an option. Hopefully you have completed financial aid, the FAFSA, and you can check on that at the sc4.edu/financial aid. If you didn't get much aid, you can enroll in a payment plan. There's a lot of options for that the SC4 advisors can help you with, and the financial aid officers can help you with. The fall semester starts Monday, August 22nd. How do we apply for graduation in the service center? I can show you that. Someone asked if they can't come to graduation, can they still get the diploma? And that's totally fine. You'll pick that up in the office. And I will show you how to apply for graduation. Basically, every degree that you want to get, if you're completing that, you would need to apply for graduation. Let's hop over to the service center right now, because I'm sure you're not the only person that has that question. So I'm going to be just logging in as myself, because so you won't really be able to see it that well. Let me see if I have anybody saved. So when you log into the service center and you get to this screen, you would just go to graduation overview and you would have information here. It would have your name. I think it would have your address, and it would have what degree that you are listed under. So like Associate of Arts, Criminal Justice, whatever it is. If what you're doing, if that's the degree you're completing, if that matches and it's all set up correctly, there's a button. I literally think it's just one button. You say click to submit and you do. I think you select what semester you're going to finish, but all the information will be here and it will be easy to see that, yep, that's right, or no, it's not. If you get into this graduation application and it says Associate of Science, but you had changed to arts at one point, we can change that really quickly and easily we can contact the SE4 advisor. So you can let me know and I can change it for you if that doesn't match. Once they change it, then you can go in and do that here. You could also just submit a paper application if you wanted, but it's probably quicker and easier just for us to change it for you. And then you can just do it right in the service center. Great question. Whoever asked that, I can't remember who it was. So that's kind of finishing up at SE4, but again, complete a degree. It's really, really helpful. If you're looking for a job, I'll send these links. These are good places to look in Michigan or in the area. SE4 has a couple different pages that lets you search jobs, and it's helpful because it's very local if that's your goal. And then these Michigan Talent and Michigan.gov, those are more statewide. So I will send those with the follow-up. There's also going to be a career fair. So SE4 is holding this career fair. It's going to be next Thursday, April 28th from 2 to 5 in the afternoon in the field house. It's open to SE4 students, alumni, and the public. So if you have anybody that you know that might be interested, feel free to pass this on. It will be fairly local companies, and you can see the list of who will be there at se4.edu/career fair, which I will also include in the email. And they suggest to dress in proper business attire. So like nice clothes, a suit, maybe a business dress or something like that. Communicate professionally and efficiently. Bring a prepared resume. There will be drawings for prizes, and there's going to be a lot of people there. So this is great. This is the first time they've been able to do this in person in quite a while. And you can see more information at that website or ask me if you have any questions. Yeah, I suggest that. It's a great opportunity. Transcripts. So as you're finishing up your associate degree or getting close, your transcripts will be required for you to send. And we wanted to just kind of show you what an official transcript looks like. And it happens to be SE4's registrar, and she did a very good job while she was at SE4 back in the day. So we're going to look at kind of what that looks like compared to that unofficial one that, you know, if anytime you've come in and worked with one of us in the office, we print out your unofficial one that shows your classes and everything. But this is what it will look like when you order your college transcript. So it looks like this. It has the seal, all this information that's been blacked out because that's her personal info. This is kind of what it looks like overall, and we'll zoom in on a few things that are helpful to understand. Get this to move forward. Oh my gosh. Sorry, I don't know what is fighting me right now. Sorry guys, my whole thing has frozen. And all right, we are back and looking at a transcript, which apparently my PowerPoint really did not want to do. Let's see. Well, let's move forward. Yes, here we go. So your information is up here. It would have your student ID, when this was printed or generated. That stuff is not really super important other than that this says official transcript. In order for something to remain an official transcript, it would need to be sent electronically or in a sealed envelope. So that's why, like, you could order this to be sent to yourself, but as soon as you open it and have access to it, it becomes unofficial. So it must come directly from the college by mail, digital delivery, or in a sealed envelope. So if you need something to include in a packet that you're sending to somebody, you can order it to be sent to yourself in the sealed envelope, or you can request that at the college. But most times it can just be sent digitally, and that's the easiest, fastest way. All schools that you attend will want an official copy of your transcript in order to give the final credit transfer. So most schools will ask for this. This is something I'll get into a little bit more, but every summer we have people that are confused when they're being asked about which transcript. Generally, as you're finishing up, they're going to want both, and we'll talk about that in a second, but oftentimes employers will also want an official copy of your transcripts from all the colleges you attend. So you would include SE4. This is what that looks like. It has the course code like Geo 101, Earth Science, 4 credits. So 16 grade points based on her having an A, basically 4.0 times 4 point credits gives you the 16. So that's all broken down there. You can see the GPA by term, so semester, and then the cumulative. And you can see how the GPA adjusts and the number of credits increase. It shows the dates. So all of this stuff is helpful to understand. If you have completed MTA, it should say MTA satisfied on it, which is great. That's mainly what your 4-year schools are going to be looking for first, to make sure that you satisfied MTA so that they can give you your general ed requirements as checked off. This also shows if what degrees you got. She happened to get honors associate's degree, but most will just say Associate of Arts on 5/6/2022. It will show hers back in the day was macro. If you were a Phi Theta Kappa, that would be included there. You can see your total credits, which she had exactly the 62 that it used to require, and then her final GPA. So transcripts are sent digitally. So SE4 transcripts are ordered from SE4 at se4.edu/transcript. So colleges will ask for this in order to help you schedule classes. So a lot of times they'll say, okay, now that your orientation is booked for June, whatever, we need your final transcript. We're going to do your final credit transfer. And then the advisor that will be at your orientation will have a copy of that and help you be able to schedule classes. Colleges also do recommend having some copies of your transcript. And for that, in order to bring to orientations, you can have the unofficial copy. So you could ask any of us for that and we can email it to you, print it out for you, whatever you need. But bringing the unofficial, a few copies are handy at orientation, especially because you've applied as a freshman. They're going to think you're a freshman. And then at orientation, your advisor is going to be like, what do you mean you have all this credit? So you can show them what classes you've had, and that helps them be able to register you for fall. Every official transcript that you need sent is $5.25, but it's pretty immediate and you get email and text updates with the order status. Your Blue Water Middle College transcript is your official high school transcript. We have all the time students that are misunderstanding your high school transcript and sending their Port Huron High or their Yale or Algonac. That's not the transcript that was meant to be sent to your 4-year schools. If that's what you sent by accident or thinking maybe you get away with having a slightly higher GPA because you only have your high school and not your college stuff on there, it is time to correct that now before it becomes kind of an issue over the summer where you may not get the credit transfer that you're looking for. You might not get the scholarships you think you're eligible for. They need your final high school transcript to show that you have actually graduated from high school. Your home high school, like Northern, PH, all of that, will never have a graduation date because you're not actually graduating from there. So that's why that high school transcript needs to come from the Blue Water Middle College, ordered through Parchment. And so it's super important that if you haven't done that, reach out to one of us and we can check to see like, oh yeah, we sent it. They have that one. But all of you probably will need to do this again once the semester is finished. Usually they'll ask for that in like mid to late May. But the four-year schools will want both your final high school transcript and your final college transcript. So college is SC4, ordered at sc4.edu/transcript. High school is Middle College and it's ordered on Parchment, right? Everyone gets that. You will need both. Potentially you just need one, but most likely you need both. So when they're asking for that, it's important to pay attention to what they're asking for. Okay, hopefully that makes sense. This video is going to talk about academic planning and just kind of the difference between a major and a minor in a bachelor's degree and the importance of making sure you're seeing advisors. This we'll see, sometimes this works good on a video and sometimes it doesn't. I have played this video and then put myself on mute, not realizing it needs the sound here. So this is a pretty quick, just a couple of minutes, but it is really useful information and good to know. So I'm going to get to it.
You really have made a fantastic varying degrees. Some of you will have saved a lot of time and money. Yeah,
Sorry. Can anybody hear the video? I'm going to pull up. It keeps cutting in and out. Well, I just kind of every time I pull up the chat, it pauses it. It's mumbling, cutting in and out, not really. Sorry, guys. I think we're having enough sound issues that I'll send this in a video. Sorry, thanks for bearing with me for a second there. I don't even know. So we're gonna move on to textbooks. I'll either send that video or maybe just do a quick video, but hopefully you have some understanding of the majors and you know what you're transferring on to do. That's something that we've talked about as we've looked at transfer guides and stuff like that. But I'll share that and then you can watch that on your own time later. So I apologize for that. Okay, so textbooks are now going to be something that you have to buy on your own. So it's important to kind of know some cheaper ways to get them. So you have had a little bit of practice with this in your later semesters with the middle college. where you've had to go directly to the bookstore, order them online, you've kind of seen the difference between buying them new, buying them used, or renting. There are some books that are only available as new, and there are some of those books where you have a code tied in that does continue as you get to the 4-year schools. The best part of new books is it's clean, free of highlighting and margin notes, and then sometimes you have no choice. It's tied with that code that you need in order to complete homework. Used books can be cheaper, but then that's basically more the stuff that you guys have been used to using for the last few years. So if you've gotten through it and that hasn't been that big of a deal, I would say continue to get used books if you're able. Sometimes if there is a used book and a code, you can buy those separately, and it might still be cheaper than buying the new book with it like bundled together. Renting books can be great, can be a good option, definitely usually the cheapest option, but it is going to be used, and then you do have to return it at the end of the semester. If it gets lost or something, you could be on the hook to have to buy that, which can be kind of expensive. So buying them, so they always will have a bookstore. It's convenient. There's people there to help you. They're usually the most expensive option to buy it on campus at a bookstore. I know I went to Michigan State. There's a bookstore actually on campus. That's kind of the most expensive, but it's right there. It's very convenient. If you are living on campus and you don't really have a way to get to the off-campus stuff, that's definitely the easiest. Then there's stuff off campus. There's a couple different stores where it's slightly cheaper, a little bit less helpful, a little bit less convenient. All of those bookstores will have all kinds of cool stuff you can buy there too, which is definitely tempting to buy a new sweatshirt. And it's also going to be pretty expensive there for like the swag and gear and all that stuff. You would bring your schedule, they'd help you find the books, or you kind of search the aisles and you figure it out pretty quick. What I used to do is go to the bookstore, find exactly the book I need, take a picture of it, and then buy that on Amazon or somewhere cheaper that I'll show you in a second. Bookstores will have a bunch of options, new, used, and possibly rentals. Some instructors require course packs that are only available at the local stores or the official bookstore. Those are the instructors that like wrote their own book, and it's just something that you throw in a binder. Anybody that had Dr. Wada over the years at SC4, she used to do that. I don't think she does anymore. It's usually very relevant to how they're going to teach the class, and so that's nice. But then there's not really another way to get a cheaper option, and sometimes they can be kind of expensive. So you'll have to find out what is required. You usually can find that out for sure on the first day of class when you get the syllabus, but the stuff is also listed online when you register. Another option is to buy them online. This is cheaper, but just riskier. Usually you can get new, used, rent, ebooks. There's 2 big websites that you can find this stuff at, which is Chegg and Amazon. And I'll kind of show you, like if your syllabus says Campbell Biology 11th edition, you can go just kind of Google that, that's how I pulled it up at first. I just put that into Google and it kind of pops it up. Maybe they have a picture in the syllabus, or you got to class and you saw other people had that, or you looked on the campus bookstore and you're like, yep, that's the one. The very first option that it brings up is Amazon. So you can click there and see what your options are. They do also, you could do an ebook that's cheaper, where you're buying the ebook or renting the ebook. There's a deadline, so you would be buying that, and usually whenever you buy it towards the end of the summer or beginning of the semester, that rental date would go through the end of the semester. So it's not like you'd have to return it before the semester, but you can see the different options here: paperback, hardcover. You can rent this book for $15, which is awesome. So that's a cheap way to look. Another way too is once you Google that and you get the ISBN, then you can compare that with what's in your syllabus or what's at the bookstore. Chegg is another website that's very similar. And I think actually the SC4 website goes through Chegg. So you're probably somewhat familiar with that. Pearson, this is like to buy it directly from the, why is that not coming up as an option? Chegg is way down here. So Chegg is just similar to Amazon. So for each book, one might be cheaper at Amazon and another class that might be cheaper at Chegg. So it might be worth checking both, or checking all of those. Okay, so that can be riskier to buy them online because it's up to you to make sure you have the correct edition. And if you buy the wrong thing, then you're kind of in trouble. Depending on the class or the book, having an older edition might be okay. And then you might have to go to maybe the library to fill in the gaps, but that can be a lot of work. There might be things that are just completely different that you might be submitting homework that's wrong because you have the old edition. So that's risky, and it takes a little bit more work and research and talking to your instructors, but it is cheaper to buy this stuff online. And as long as you're really paying attention to the edition, the title, and if you have the ISBN, then that's helpful. These sites, basically Chegg and Amazon, this article, I'll include when I send that email with information. So the ISBN is this number that's on the barcode, a 10 or 13 digit number. If you have that, you can just Google that and it would pop up the different ways to buy it. So the edition would be, each edition has a new ISBN. So that's the way you can make absolutely sure that you're getting the right edition, like this 13th edition versus the 7th. Another thing, just kind of moving on to paying for college, other expenses to expect, or just in general, kind of what to expect, budget for, think about. Tuition is typically $160 to $550 per credit hour. So depending where you're going, that could be 12, so typically on average about $12,000 a year just for the tuition. When you hear about college being $20,000 or more a year, that usually also includes your room and board. So that could be about $10,000 to live on campus. That would include your dorm room, your meal plan, all of that's your room and board basically. It typically usually is cheaper to live off campus, like in an apartment, but some schools may require you to live on campus the first year. And that's stuff that you would get that information on whether that's required, how that works, all the housing options. You would get that when you have committed to a school, paid the deposit. Usually then you have to choose your housing at the same time. Textbooks can be anywhere from $200 to $600 per semester. You saw how expensive that one book was. That's one class. So even $600 could be cheap. So it really is definitely points to how important it is to make sure that you're finding yourself the cheapest option. And then all those other like room furnishings, setting up your dorm room, setting up your apartment. Hopefully you have people that can give you kind of hand-me-downs to set up an apartment. I know that I had stuff from anybody that would donate anything, dishes, like a couch, a kitchen table, all that stuff. So there's ways to do this all much cheaper than what it looks like, but it does mean you're taking hand-me-downs from people. And then your expenses, just buying food aside from what you get in the dorm, going out to meals, all that stuff can add up, and you'll learn pretty quick to start limiting that if you have to. There are options for the whole paying for the tuition, the room and board, your bill that you're going to get from your four-year school. The experts would be the financial aid office anywhere. You can also talk to the financial aid office at SE4, and they will help you navigate even if you are going to a four-year school. Grants are paid to students with financial need. Sometimes they are just based on need, and sometimes they are tied to some need and some merit, and that would be like your GPA and your SAT score. The Pell Grant is an example of that. Scholarships are similar to that. So these are the free money that you don't have to pay back. Tuition incentive program tip. If you got any kind of communication that you were eligible for that and have not yet applied, you should do that. It would give you some more free money. So these are the things that you don't have to pay back. There's a lot more information about this on the page that I'll show you on our page. Student loans and parent loans, that's the stuff you have to pay back. Working while you're at school is not money that you have to pay back, but things you have to work in payment for that. And all of this stuff usually requires completion of a FAFSA. Help is available. Financial aid offices are awesome. They sound like a really scary place, like it's people holding all this money hostage, and it's completely the opposite. They are looking for ways to help you. They just need to talk to you and find out your story. And almost everyone I know that has gone to the financial aid office and actually met with somebody, they've come up with something to help you, that it's not that bill that you're getting when you're getting those financial aid award letters. The Paying for College page on our website is helpful, and it does have the video. So at bluewatermiddlecollege.org, and then you go to Beyond the BWMC and Paying for College. There's a whole bunch of information here, but probably the most helpful would be that success session. So if you were not able to attend that in the fall, this is actually from this year's it's from last year's presentation planning for this year, but the information is still the same. It's really, really helpful. I learned stuff about my own student loans here, mainly all the mistakes I made. So read through this page, ask for help, meet with a financial aid person, watch that video. There's tons of information out there, and I know it can be overwhelming, but sometimes the best way is just to have a meeting with a financial aid person, and they can kind of find out, much as we could have that conversation to say, this is how this specific situation applies to you and your plans and your goals. That's what they can do for you too. So that's there. This last slide is that's the last slide. So let me just quickly show you this graduation page while we're over here. So it's under current students, which this probably should be under future students, but under current students and graduation, we have a little bit of a summary of what we just talked about. We have the links to both of those surveys. We will have more information posted here. We'll have the link to this video posted here. And then about the graduations, we'll have more information about, like, mainly the middle college one, what time to report, where you can park, stuff like that, like general information about the how and when and where. So that is it. Congratulations. I hope you've had a wonderful 3 years. I hope you're very proud of yourself for going through a really, really challenging thing at a really, really challenging time. And you guys have really done awesome. So I'm very proud and emotional, and I'm very happy for you all that you're moving on to bigger and better. So I can answer questions. I'm going to look at the chat, and I'm going to stop recording. And this thing is fighting me.